So 42 years old man who was brought to the ER in ambulance, history of falls on third floor. He was on aripiprazole and last 4 days he seemed to be unwell, not very communicative. On arrival, the person's saturation was 87% on 12 liters, respiratory rate high, tachycardia, blood pressure lower side, and a GCS of 9 by 15. 12 by 15. And was bleeding from the right leg, pain at the back of the neck, chest, and legs. Trauma code was announced and secured 2 large bore IV access and primary survey was started. So, moving on to the question number 1. So, first is how will you assess the patient? So, one of you just unmute yourself and answer it.
Here, can I start?
Yeah, please.
Here the assessment will be on ABCDE approach. A will be the assessment of the airway. I look for any obstruction of the airway, any injury, any obstruction. And if there is airway injury, simultaneously we need to secure it. While B, in this scenario, we look for the respiratory rate, breathing pattern, and if there is auscultation, if there is decreased breath sound, then I'll think about pneumothorax also. And C for circulation, already large bore cannula has been inserted. I will initiate IV fluid. And if ultrasonography machine is available, I'll do the POCUS examinations, which will give me idea about the hemothorax. Then at the same time, the cardiac trauma also.
So A, B, C, D, E and cervical spine, this you have to be very perfect. And you have to address and modify it as per your case. Like here, cervical spine, airway obstruction, very nice to say. E fast, blood products was missed. Then this pelvic fracture, other limbs, exposure and hypothermia. These things are specific for this case. It's not a routine trauma case, right? Because it's a fall from the height. So you have to be specific for the case. You can't just memorize the ABCDE and tell it that way. You need to modify it for case-to-case basis, and for that you need practice. And because you need to do that when you see the case for the first time in your actual exam, then there's no way you can prepare a single answer for this sort of thing. Similarly, there is a nexus criteria. What is the nexus criteria? No focal neurological deficit, no midline cervical spine tenderness, normal GCS, no evidence of intoxication, and no painful distracting injury otherwise. That is no long bone fracture, pelvic fracture, no severe burns, no large laceration, these sort of things. If none of these are present, then you can avoid the C-spine image. Okay. The criteria are obviously freely available in any good book or in Google also. So you can just download it and read it from there. But these two you need to remember, because if a trauma case, they will mostly ask you about this. So after primary survey, what do you do? What is the next step?
To investigate the patient, carry out investigations, like my colleague had already talked about the EFAST scan, and then proceeding to do a PANS CT, to determine the extent of the injuries.
Okay, anything else?
Any allergic history or any medications patient is on, past medical history, last time when he had meals.
Okay, so what is the protocol for that? What is it called?
Ample history.
Yeah, it's ample. It's secondary survey basically. Ample is A for allergies, M for medications, P for past medical history, significant past medical history obviously. L is last meal or oral intake, the NPO status, and E is events leading to the injury. So any fire, chemical exposure, any poisonings, if you can find it out, speed of the motor vehicles, height, fall from height, whether any rollover, that is all some of the factors already discussed. So this is called ample. Secondary survey or ample?
I think there is no significance. There is no mortality benefit in.
Is it for everything or is it for a particular
traumatic brain injury?
No. I mean, in traumatic brain injury, there's a classification, right? Mild, moderate, severe. So in which it should not be given, where it should be given?
In severe traumatic brain injury, it has a role. Mild to moderate, I think it is not beneficial.
It's the opposite.
Oh, I
It's
saw
in
that.
severe traumatic brain injury, there is no significant benefit.
Okay.
Because there is so much of an injury, the Tranexa probably does not mark much of a difference.
Okay.
But in a mild to moderate TBI, significantly reduces the head injury related mortality. So unless it is a severe TBI, what is the definition of severe TBI? GCS 3 to 8. It should be given.
Mhm.
If the GCS is 3 to 8, then it should not be given. But in all these cases, it is all the TBI cases, including severe TBI, it does not increase the event of vascular events or seizures. So it's safe. Okay. And these are old trials. Other trials also like Patch. Patch is 2023 trial. It has also shown that 28-day mortality was significantly improved, but primary outcome, that is the general ability, GOS E level, at 6 months, there's no significant difference in functional outcomes. So this trial is Patch Trauma Trial, published in NEGM 2023. That is also landmark trial. So we along with crash trials, we also have the Patch trial also now.